Okay. This next hand, I really wanted your input on Yurik because I know that a lot of students of mine have trouble with this kind of situation. We've got King 9 6 4 double suited on the button, facing a cutoff open, and I wanted to get some insight from you on how you approach this against a variety of opponents.
Sure. So I think I can say pretty easily that if the opponent is one of those loose, fishy opponent that we talked about in the previous hands,
Uh-huh.
it's a pretty clear 3-bet. Since we have a decent, like a smooth hands that is going to flop mediocre at least a decent amount of the time. But what comes more important is that it's actually not a hand that I would recommend 3-betting against aggressive, good regulars that we basically respect their game and we know that they're not doing a lot of mistakes, but in contrast, giving us oftentimes hard time post flop. Because if we look at our hand, we can see that oftentimes we're going to flop something like a bare flush draw, a bare top pair, or even if we flop something like top and bottom pair on a King Jack 4 two-tone board when we don't have a flush draw, we see that we are actually not thrilled about c-bet get it in, even though we have two pairs. So it's not a hand that we actually love to play for stacks against a good opponent. So I would, and in addition, there comes the fact that it's like button versus cutoff is the most obvious light 3-betting spot ever. So the good opponents adjust their ranges and 4-bet lighter range, including a lot of ace king king, double suited kings, but also some ace king queen type of hands. So we are actually can get into a lot of spots where we are kind of forced to call the 4-bet, but then we get into spots post flop where we are frequently dominated. So against good opponent, I would highly recommend to just fold it right away.
Cool. You made a lot of really good points. One I want to expand on is something that I tell my students, where 3-bet pots or generating money in 3-bet pots, where a lot of it comes from is dominating combo draws, and a lot of that comes from when you flop like dominating like top pair and side cards on a variety of boards. So like that's one area where this hand really struggles. So like on let's say like I don't know like a 9 high flop, we're really not going to be dominating that much if someone has like ace king 9 or also like if it's like 9 8 X, they can have a lot of straight draws or two pairs with their hands. And of course like we only have like a 9 high flush, so our spades are going to not be clean a decent amount of the time as well. So that's exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. So we should really kind of hold on and wait for better hands that we are like kind of lowen our frequency, our 3-betting frequency against the right opponents, because against those we have to be realistic and they're not going to be like the big money spenders for us. So we should wait for other spots where we can actually extract more value.
Yeah, that's good. And I think it's kind of counterintuitive because you hear that you should widen your range on the button, but of course, like you have to take into consideration the opponents that you're up against. You can't just like call with anything on the button. You can't just throw it with anything on the button, because of course, like players do adjust pretty correctly to, like you said, when you become more aggressive in position. So that's all very good stuff.
Yeah, just as a quick side note, there's also one player type against whom it makes sense to 3-bet that. That's against the straightforward regulars that are folding enough to 3-bets pre-flop, so you have some immediate profit by 3-betting.
Uh-huh.
And in addition, they are not like creative/aggressive post-flop, so they will have a reasonable weak, like wide range of like say 30-35% pre-flop. And now when you're getting to post-flop and you know that he's never bluff raising, never really like stacking off light, putting you into troubles, then you have a much easier time, because now you can either start to barrel, you can take a free card, you have much more options, and you are ensured to keep control on the hand. So against those like straightforward tags, I would also consider 3-betting those kind of light hands.
Right.
in position.
Here's a question for you. What fold to three bet would you consider to be like a high fold to three bet? So, like for example, like let's say that you're playing 50 tables or however many that you're playing nowadays. But no, let's say that you're multi-tabling and you quickly glance at someone's HUD. What number sticks out to you as someone having a high fold to three bet?
I would say above 30 is um, enough to justify light three betting, and you will also have some kind of idea, like the history, personal history with that player. You kind of get an idea who's staying out of your way, who is looking for trouble, like trying to mess around with you, and just pick up on those players that kind of try to stay out of your way, and yeah, and base my decision on that effect.
Cool. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I think we covered it pretty decent.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Casino Crime here. Now, if you like this video and you want more, then go ahead and click the subscribe button below right now. And if you want to join me for more of my 6 Max success secrets and free video tutorials, just click the link to the right. See you inside the trainings. Good luck.